trial work?
Gosh, it's a lot. It's fun to have to be in a large firm too. It's tough. I don't know how we open door policy, and you know that. But if we, I talk to folks every day preparing for a trial that aren't familiar with the case, just about let me run something by you, and they do that. I mean, so the whole pre-trial preparation process is nothing but strategy, and what exhibits to use, what witnesses to use, where to go with each witness, what cross-examination outline to use for each particular witness. And that's what makes it fun. And that's, to me, is what keeps me interested in doing it. I've been doing 27 years, 26 years.
How about the people on the other side and the judge? How important do you think it is to know them and know their philosophies of life?
It helps a lot because you know what folks' strategies are and styles. They're generally not going to vary from that, so you can prepare for the other lawyer. Especially the judge is very important, like the voir dire, jury selection. If you know a judge doesn't like you, if one judge in particular that you say, how do you feel about it? You're trying to establish a rapport with the jury. How do you feel about your jury selection? You ask feel, the word feeling to the Tahoe, to the judges conference out there, and they told not to let a lawyer ask the word feel, ask a question of the word feeling. So anytime, it doesn't matter how it's used, if he hears the word feel, he'll say, well, now, tell don't understand. Don't understand. So that's the kind of thing that it helps to know, because you don't want to get interrupted at your very first opportunity to speak with the jury, which is voir dire. You don't want to get interrupted. You want to go as smoothly as possible. So if you know the judges, what the judges like, what their preferences are with respect to that, it's extremely helpful.
Now, there's one thing I've learned from dealing with your firm. You're very fact-oriented. You like to salt down the facts first. And tell us how important you think it is to salt down the facts first.
Gosh, we try to do that before we take the case, even if we have an option. It's not like one of our long, big clients, so we have to take it no matter what. So it's very important. As you all know from first year law school, the facts, the law is important, of course, but facts are probably 80% of it. And being able to prove those facts is necessary to establish a claim or to defeat it. So fact finding is huge, and you're really not a substitute for doing it. You can't really delegate that to someone who doesn't have experience in fact finding. So it is probably the most critical part of any investigation report: intake and active trial preparation.
Now, your firm has a unique ability to secure experts in various fields. Tell us how you do that, how your firm does it, the relationships, and how you develop those.
Yeah, we have an expert, medical malpractice. We have an expert data bank, and we have experts in every field imaginable in all over the country. And either we work with them, or we know people who work with them. We have the contact information, and if we have for example, an accident reconstructionist or an engineer, we probably have 20 of them. And there are probably 5 or 6 we use all the time, more than the others. But they all have specialties within accident reconstruction. You have a neurologist or an oncologist. We've added the Campbell Blackwell to our list, who is the oncologist at Duke. We also American. Okay, but anytime we have an experience with an expert in any case, either because we've used them or the opponent uses them, and I was particularly impressed with them. They go to our data, and we try to find the most honest, straight shooters who make a good appearance in front of a jury, have good people skills. And some better than others, but that's how we do it. And the best engineer I've ever had was on the other side of a jury trial with me back in like 88, 89. The other lawyers used him, and I thought, man, this guy's fantastic. And after, might suck, right? And I've started using him ever since then because I saw him testify against me. Fantastic. But experts are important. In some cases you don't. Experts aren't necessary in every case.
Now, a lot of these students, some of them might not have jobs, may go out and set up their own shingle, and in walks a very serious personal injury case, motor vehicle accident. medical bills over $100,000, and to you and me, that automatic system, you're insured. What would you tell these folks in terms of what should they ought to do in trying to handle something like that themselves, straight out of law school?
Well, I mean, it can be done. I mean, you just need to make sure you,
As far as should they try to associate something?
well, yeah, you can, if I were, was unsure of what I was doing in any kind of case, but it's not cost efficient to associate people in cases that aren't significant because people aren't going to want to do it with it. But you can get folks in any area, in any kind of case, medical mal, motor vehicle, business litigation, anything you're unfamiliar with, you can associate, or you can, someone in your area who is good, who has got a reputation for that particular area of the law, or a lot of times, I mean, and Dale does it a ton as well, is we'll, a lot of Campbell grads do it, but we are available to talk to folks who are young lawyers who move into a community and they need somebody to bounce something off of. We do it all the time. Let somebody call you, go to lunch, go have a beer after work, talk on the phone about a certain issue, and serve as a mentor. And I tell you, I did it when I was coming along. I had a great mentor, but I did it with other folks in the community as well. And that's something you can do as well. It's a great resource. Great resource.
If you were going to give some advice to these litigants and attorneys, what would you give them in terms of motor vehicle law and how valuable that could be to them as an experience on the start home?
Well, motor vehicle laws are, if you want jury trial experience, I don't know if you're interested in jury trial work, there's no better place to get it than trying a motor vehicle case because those get tried. In business court, for example, I mean, I've got two right now that have been there for a year and a half. It's supposed to be a quick way to get a business dispute resolved. I can get a jury trial, and I could have gotten 3 motor vehicle cases tried at the time I've had each of these cases in business court. So it's a great way to get trial experience, and whether you're on the defense side with the insurance companies or whether you're doing the plaintiff's work, and it's really not a whole lot of malpractice involved. In other words, you can't screw up it so bad. If you're doing defense work, you're not going to get screwed. You're not going to screw up at all. If you're because there's an insurance company there behind you. If you do plaintiff's work and it's, as long as you don't miss a statute of limitations or do something god awful, so an expert position gets excluded or something, generally you're not going to commit the liability is on an insignificant case is not significant. So I think it's a great way to cut your teeth. Smaller motor vehicle cases, and a lot of people get it. And I tell you, with ADR now, with mediations and arbitrations, they're mandated. I can remember I was talking to somebody last week about when I was in the 80s. I can remember trying 9, 10 jury trials a year. I mean, it was fun. It was just. Now I tried 3 jury trials last year in 08, 3, and we had 25 litigators, and I think I tried more than any other litigator than Morton Smith. You just can't get them in court. I mean, it's just hard to get them tried. If you go to an insurance defense firm that does a lot of motor vehicle work, you can get a little bit of it's a little bit easier to get that done, but it's just harder to get a case tried. It's good because cases really ought to settle, and the docket ought not be clogged with cases that should settle and should not be tried.
What kind of success rate have you found in mediation? And how meaningful?
It's meaningful, and I'm very impatient. I don't know how he's the most impatient guy I know. I'm next, I think. But I used to say when mediation was mandated, in Pitt County in Greenville was one of the pilot programs for mediation. You had to do it before you get a case on trial. Now this is before. Now it's mandated all over the state. You got to get it. You got to mediate before you get on trial. It doesn't really supervise it. He's more of he's a guy that can. One of the co-managers, managing director of the firm with another guy, and we looked at those department heads, the head of corporate, the head of business, the head of T&E litigation, to report back to us with administrative issues that need to be addressed by management. So that's more what I do with the word supervisor.
Now, people like Lynn Davis, who works with Charles and is a Campbell graduate, Lynn was really lost quickly. I assume you got the average student, someone you're willing to recruit boards. How long is it going to be, year-wise, before they're really a veteran in how matters?
If we have a professional development committee, that's job it is to make sure, for example, litigation, that by the end of year one, there's a checklist. Will the person have been able to attend a deposition, a hearing, a trial, a court of appeals argument? By year two, try a bench trial, take a deposition on your own, boom, boom, boom. So by the end of 5 years, that person should have done everything under the sun by themselves. And we try to expose the folks to that as early as they're able to do it, and as early as they feel comfortable doing it. Linwood Evans has worked with me as a graduate here. Great. I mean, he's one of the best lawyers ever. I put him up against anybody, any age. He's unbelievable. He got it a lot earlier, and he was exposed. He tried a lot of jury trials. He was trying his first jury trial about 14 months out by himself. Smaller cases and worked up, and now he handles 7-figure cases daily. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's only probably 34 years old, 35 years old. Made shareholder with us after about 4 years in Campbell.
Tell us about the excitement of learning new things like medicine. Various areas of medicine you run into.
Ain't a whole lot of excitement about that.
Yeah.
You're really, it's interesting.
Interesting, maybe that's right.
But every case you got to, every time I have to do something, if I look at the rules of procedure, if I'm getting ready to go argue summary judgment, I got to pull Rule 56 up. Many times I've done it because I don't trust my memory on that. So anytime you have a case that involves something different with medicine, or something that I've had a year ago, like if I had an oncology case, a breast cancer case, I still have to go back and try to make sure I learn the medicine. And it's interesting with medical malpractice cases, you do learn the medicine. It's absolutely fascinating, and you learn it from your experts. And that's why in some cases you don't need an expert, but in medical malpractice cases, to learn the medicine, that's why I practice law, because I got a D in physics in Carolina. Suddenly developed, that's going back to your question, that's right. I actually wanted to be a surgeon until I flunked chemistry, and then suddenly that had an epiphany.
Where your daughter's going to go to medical school? She's going to make that work.
No, but it is interesting. It is interesting, and it is necessary in medical malpractice cases. Any case you have medicine involved, to get an expert.
Now, one thing that I observed from your firm is how quickly you're able to get out letters and communication. Tell us how you do that. I know you have a BlackBerry. Tell us about that and how you communicate.
We have good paralegals. We have a highest ratio of paralegal to lawyer in the state. We did in 07. I'm not sure how we fared in 08. So we utilize paralegals a lot. We have really good paralegals, and they crank it out. They know what to do. Lawyers don't need to tell a paralegal this is what you need to do in this particular type of case. They know it. So the case comes in, and the client can meet the client, and depending on the type of case it is, and the paralegal signed to it, they're off and running without you having to give them a checklist every time. They know exactly what they're doing and can write letters better than I can. I mean, so that's the key to getting it out. And clients want, they like to see that letter and a copy going to them, and the letter going to the opposing side as soon as it can happen, because they appreciate the fact you're on.
You dictate right from your car?
Oh, yeah.
And how does that, tell us how that works?
We have a digital, it's interesting, we have a digital dictation system we just went to, and where we have you can dictate, put it in any portal, in any office, and it transmits back to a pool. So, for example, I can dictate a complaint I will be dictating about the deposition I took this morning from here to Greenville. And when I get to Greenville in the morning in the office, I'll plug it in, I'll pop it in with the other stuff I've dictated, and somebody in Asheville, a word processor in Asheville, may be typing. Whoever's available, whatever processor is available in whatever office, Greenville, New Bern, Wilmington, Raleigh, Asheville, it comes up, they type it. And it prints in Greenville. It prints wherever I am. Wherever I stuck it in the portal, it's printed, and then they'll deliver it to me. And it can go out if I have, like today, I was in Raleigh. This morning, I dictated yesterday afternoon. Last night, I put it in the portal. Today, I had it delivered, the documents delivered to me in Raleigh to sign, letters to sign. And so the digital dictation is really, and again, when I was in law school, they had Lexus. When I was here, it was a different building. We also you couldn't buy beer out here. I mean, you had to be 21. I could drive 18. We
got several in there like that.
At 18, you had to be 21 to drink, but this place has changed significantly. But when I was here, Lexus had first computer had just gone downstairs in the library and for research. So I didn't know how to read. When I got law school, could not research on the computer because it was kind of cutting edge folks were doing that. My third year when I came in here, and I didn't know. But digital dictation is something that 2-3 years ago I didn't know what it was, and our IT folks got it and said we need to get this, and we relied on them, and they were rocking. It's just unbelievable. And we don't have to have as many word processors because you get the best. We had 25 or 20 word processors. Now we can cut it back to 12, 13, 14 of the first team. The first team of the softball team, the best ones, and all the officers. And it doesn't matter if you don't have someone sitting there doing nothing. You've got the best ones. Somebody in one city maybe typing for somebody else, and it's printed wherever.
How do you take advantage of legal research within your office? Do you have certain ones like Brad Ellis or somebody that does a particular type of research and say, here, Thomas, do it?
We have some contract lawyers that do nothing but research. They want to be contract lawyers. They have made a lifestyle choice. We're very flexible about that. We don't have minimum billable hour requirements or anything like that. If somebody wants to be part-time and do nothing but research, we have probably 6 litigators who don't ever want to go inside a court. They want to research and write briefs, write trial briefs, do motion, do the memorandum support of motions, and they're wonderful. And that's how we do. I don't think I could. I know I could search something on the computer. I mean,
you trust their work?
It's unbelievable. And it makes for folks who want to do what they do best and who enjoy doing what they do. They able to do those things. And because I would not want to be now on research. I couldn't. I would be compromised. And same with other people. I mean, at Linwood probably could, but 40 and above, sort of 50 and above, like me, you can't. That crap doesn't have to get on the computer and search it. Jeopardize the case. And I couldn't do it.
Do you think about strategies and law all the time? I mean, I called you at the airport, you answered if I think you went to dinner somewhere. You ever get away from it?
All the time.
How many hours a week do you work?
Gosh, it just varies. But now because you have BlackBerries and you have cell phones and you have the laptops, you can plug in wherever you are to the office. It makes it very easy to be on vacation and somewhere to plug in. I mean, it's so probably more than I did when I was 30 years old. And I really do. Some people don't want to do it, but it teaches. I probably work 60 hours a week if I'm not completely on.
But that 60 hours is a lot more productive than it was 15 years ago.
Yeah, and it's not a hard 60. It's not 60 when looking at cases and trying to shepherdizing them and outlining them and the issue, the rules, and trying to distinguish cases. It's more of a talk on the phone, dealing with clients, email communication. You get 400 emails a day, and especially on listservs, like I'm on a couple of trial listservs, you get a bunch of emails every day. So, but you can go home and drink, watch a basketball game, drink a couple of beers, and that counts. It does for me.
Yeah. Well, I told Charles I trusted him so much over the last 10 years. I made him my power of attorney for the purposes of finishing up my law practice and everything. I had to put him in a will and willed him everything left in my law practice. I told him I trusted him with my life and not with my life.
And if you've seen it, his Dale's wife's here today, so you know why. When I first met Dale, I thought, man, I really did. I'm not kidding.
Thank you, Charles.
He's got grown kids. I couldn't believe
Got my children back there on the back row. There's my daughter Amy and Chad and Jessica.
they look like siblings, not
All right, open it up for questions. We got a few more minutes. Come on, man. You got some.
I'd like to ask Charles where he gets his enthusiasm for his work. I mean, some people don't enjoy their work, and I'm sure there are a lot of attorneys that would say, I'd never do this again. But would you do it again? And then if you say yes, which I sense you probably will, because you're so very enthusiastic. What gives you your drive and your passion, and why do you love it as much as I perceive you do?
I don't know. I didn't like tax school, and I knew that. So I don't know. I'm very type A, and I'm very impatient. And just like you, and I like to have a lot of balls in the air at one time. I mean, I can't. If I had to now write a brief and just focus on something for about 3 days, I don't think I can do it. So I think it's just, you meet new experiences every day, every week. And I like the challenge of keeping a lot of balls in the air at the same time.
Different people, even though they're similar situations, all of them are different. Medicine will be different, liability will be different.
It's different.
This is just different every day. Not like speed is speed. But,
It is. I do not like the management aspect of it, the management piece of it. But the guy that does it with me is stopped right so long, and he does nothing but management. So I've only had to cut back substantive work about 15-20%. If I had to do what he does on a daily basis, I would do something. I'd go do something with it. Yeah.
have to learn to play ping pong.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely.
Multitask. That's what you're saying. Opening it up for questions now. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
What's your take? I guess I could open this up to y'all on the ticket fixing scandal out of
I think we both agree it's awful. Talk about it. Absolutely terrible. Take years to get over that. What do you call it? I'm appalled at it.
I just don't know what they were thinking. And maybe, it's just allegations right now, but I swear it doesn't look good. It's some criminal defense lawyers from
Both presidents of this law school.
2 of them were in. And the DA in Johnson County fixed the dismissal. And they got indicted, charged, booked. And it's just allegations right now, but based on what I've seen, it looks good.
It makes it tough for people like us. So, someone in your town, small town, that embezzles money or something like that, it takes years for it to get over.
We all get painted with that brush.
Right.
It really is. And that's why Campbell does such a good job. And that's why I tell you, Campbell Owen does a good job of preparing folks to hit the ground running, which is hard to do. But the ethics here is as good as any other law school. And they did then when I was here, they do now. They harp on it. And we were talking about this how upset we were that he just ran anybody, but 2 of those guys at another time, maybe more than 2.
All 4 of them.
All 4? I knew 2 of them did. God.
It ain't gonna be good. Somebody's had a question. Yes, ma'am.
I had a question. Going back to the Lynette Miracle case, you said that you tried to just keep focusing more on the medical part and pushing her, I guess, feelings, not personal feelings, but her ideas of what was behind these doctors to the side. Did that whole experience make you want to listen a little bit more to your clients?
And it's a great question. It sure as hell did. And I mean, she meant more. I'm telling you this, and it absolutely did, and it made me want to listen and not just dispense with what a client says. A lot of times you'll see, 10 years from now, you'll look back and say, damn, come on. Maybe 90% of what you're going to hear from clients is it turns out not to be relevant to what you're doing. But it surely made me think. And she was smart. I mean, Lynette was not only a great person, she was smart, and so that's what was puzzling us. But she kept focused on it. And once we realized what she said was right and led us to further investigate and find out what we did, I don't think there's a client now that I don't at least think about, well, I mean, I need to listen to this out, I need to at least run this rabbit and see.
First time we talked to her, I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was so unbelievable I just get, and then she got up there, and Charles and I looked at each other and said, I believe it.
Yeah.
And we went with it. And it had already been reviewed one time by an attorney in Raleigh, who said he couldn't find any negatives. But it was just such an unbelievable story. We weren't sure anybody would believe her, but we did.
We really didn't believe it, but we said, she's so credible, and she's smart, and she seems like she's either just crazy, or she is, got something going on. But it took me a little bit longer to really believe that what she said would have any merit. And she didn't know the extent of what we ended up finding out, but we wouldn't have done it had she not been insistent. But that's a great question, and the answer is yes, it has, for both of us.
Duke kept her alive about 2.5 years with very experimental drugs and chemo and everything in the world.
She lived 2 years out. She outlived her life expectancy by 2 years. She was an amazing,
Most determined person I've ever seen. She intended not to die. She wanted to home that administrator to go.
and she wanted to. We deposed those people. We deposed the doctor. We deposed the administrator at Goshen. She was right there with a trash can she bought in. She was going through chemo.
Good.
She was absolute. She did not want this to happen to anybody else, and it's confidential with what happened to the money, but. She put her money where her mouth was. She didn't use that money for herself one penny. She did it. She used that money to prevent other people from having to go through what she went. Incredible.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
What sort of, or do you use law practice management software like a Dick's Attorney or something like that?
I forgot to tell you about our organizational chart at our firm. We have a chief information officer, and a chief operating officer, and a chief financial officer that we report to Ken and I don't know. I guess that information officer can tell you exactly, we do it, but I'm not the guy to talk to you about it.
Y'all computerize your client files?
Absolutely, and it's so sophisticated that, it's beyond me. I can do the basics that I need to do, but as I said, if I need to go and pull up a document, give you an example, if I can go pull up a document in a brief that's been filed in business court. I can get that because I can get access to the court. But let's say I have a document that's been filed in the court of appeal. You can literally pull that thing up in 10 seconds. I could not. I had to call and say, "Can you PDF me the brief from so and so?" But it's our computer system is excellent, and it's supposedly state of the art. It also says it should be state of the art. And we have an information officer who's got like 5 or 6 staff people under him that handle all the day-to-day operations. Sorry, I can't be more specific.
Any other questions? No, we don't? Charles, we appreciate it.
I'm interested in knowing how many of you all, is this second year or?
Second and third.
Okay. The third year, how many third? How many of you have jobs with third? You find it difficult? Did you find it difficult? Is it?
No jobs to apply for. It seems.
Say again.
It seems like there aren't even jobs to apply for right now.
A lot of larger firms have not hiring and withdrawing offers, which is we have not withdrawn and don't intend to. But we have delayed 3 months. We've got 4 people coming, 2 from Campbell. And we delayed just the start date. But that's only to try to stay ahead of the curve because our consultants tell us to do that. But I heard that it was tough. And I heard one figure, and I didn't know if it was accurate. You all know how many of you have 105 30, right? 96. You know how many of those have gotten jobs?
Probably about 15.
25.
Somewhere around.
And that would be, not counting hanging out of shingle, 25 folks who are employed who are going to be employed with other firms. virtual. Well, good luck.
Any other questions? Thank you for coming. I'll see you next week. Charles, thanks for coming.
Hello, today is April 1st, Wednesday, and we're at Campbell Law School, Dale's law school class. He's been a professor for 28 years here, an adjunct professor teaching motor vehicle, North Carolina motor vehicle law. And he was interviewing Charles Ellis, and his favorite attorney to try cases with. Charles lives in Greenville and has offices all over North Carolina. And I hope you enjoyed our show. And this is Diane Johnson signing out.